I get in trouble, right? This is Baron David Ward, my dear friend. Um, and yeah, we're just touching base, and I'm, like so many others, trying to have Baron hold my hand to push through and press through some issues in my life. But I think the biggest gift that David gives me, and probably others, is to lose the fear. So even just if he and I just touch base messaging, I get a bit braver. And I think fear is the dominant factor in what's going on. Tell me, give us a catch up from your end first. I'm doing this for myself primarily, but just recording it as well in case it's of any benefit to anybody else. But I do have selfish motives. I do believe there's another attack brewing against me. Similar carry on. They've invited somebody to fly to Ireland to make a first-hand complaint. And they've, in the meantime, or in the process of introducing Coco's Law, which is supposed to be a law to protect vulnerable people from being cyberbullied to suicide, which does happen. Coco was a teenager who committed suicide as a 22 or 3-year-old after being not just cyberbullied but beaten up at nightclubs and school and, you know, horrendous bullying. So, but I think it's like all laws that look like they're for a good reason, they've got a sting in the tail, which is to silence whistleblowers and activists and so on, dissidents, whatever they want to call them. So yeah, so there's looks like somebody's been invited to fly to Ireland in May. Sharon Gayle is one of her many names, and many other people have been piling on complaints about myself and my reporting. And I do believe they're going to try again. I wouldn't be a bit surprised, but we already proved the first time there is no warrant. I was presented with a warrant in August 2018, but and it looked to have a wet ink signature, but I was not left with any copy. And with Baron David's help, I gave a 7-day, 14-day and 21-day request for a copy of the warrant, which was not forthcoming. So therefore, legally, there is no warrant for it to have stolen my computer and 2 laptops. And then also, I did get sight of 2 warrants that were served on Google to give my personal private data information away. And the police, the Gardaí, were very shocked that Google had shared that information with me. But we were delighted to discover that one didn't even have a judge's name on it, let alone a signature, and the other had a name but no signature. So neither of those warrants are admissible in court either. So they may be trying to do Mark II and try and do it better the second time. I don't know, but I just feel like I need to do the habeas corpus because aside from anything else, it's a computer and 2 laptops, which in August will have been 3 years gone with no lawful warrant.
And that tells you what? They've not got a case to bring.
And no charge and no arrest.
3 years and no charges and no case in court, and they've not started any case.
So literally they can come to your house, come in, take your computers and technology, not return it. The only thing I did get was at one point the local inspector said, oh, there's a procedure to apply to get your possessions back. It's called an application to the court for return of property or something like that.
No, we're doing habeas corpus on the property.
Yeah, so that's what I want to get started.
We're not making an application and going capping down and begging, please, sir, can I have a cup of
Please,
soup?
can I have my stuff back?
Sue the fucking criminals.
Yeah, yeah. So
I'm swearing already.
I know. We'll try and keep it clean. We'll try and keep it clean. I want to share a couple of things with you, but without getting you too wound up. But I suppose the first thing on my mind is what happens when people don't take the approach that you're recommending, which is there is no consent. You know, you cannot be governed without the consent of the people, and that, you know, all men are created equal before God. Just because these people wear a uniform, you know, or a wig, or gown doesn't. We didn't consent.
No, I'm going to rephrase that. Just because these people have conned us since Babylon, the con is now over. The game is gone. They are done. They are finalized. They are completely bamboozled in their own bullshit because they've already signed a goddamn document that says it's a legal declaration of no contest. They're done. They signed it. They finished. What we've got to put back into people's heads is that these people have never, ever in the history of mankind had any authority.
Yeah.
So we've got to change the way we speak. We've got to change what we say. There is no warrant because there was no judge's name because it's not signed. So it's not a warrant.
Well, the document they came to my house with was wet ink signed, but
by who? Because they made sure they took it away. They should have left that warrant.
Yeah, they should have left me, and I did ask for a copy, and I've legally asked for a copy, and it hasn't been forthcoming, so we can only presume.
No, it's not a presumption. There is no warrant. They've got an obligation to present the warrant.
Okay.
If they made a claim, they've got an obligation because they made a claim.
So the two cases that I'm working on a case in Ireland with somebody, and it's late to the party, and I think our biggest job or your biggest job is to undo the mind control that people have been under, because he's had a legal team for about 2.5 years. His trial is due to start shortly, and predictably he only gets introduced to the barrister and the expert witness in the last few weeks, even though it's 2.5 years ago the incident happened. I don't want to say too much, but I have literally had to. The best I could do was put a metaphorical boot up his arse and say, your legal team works for you. Now, I don't agree with having a legal team or engaging in the court theatre, but there was no persuading him at this late stage to disentangle himself from that.
Well, if that's what people do, then that's his choice, and he will pay the price.
He will, but he's by degrees. He has at least put a firecracker up the arses, metaphorically speaking, of his legal team, because he's suddenly woken up. When I first met him, and he's not a stupid man by any means, when I first met him, he was like, oh, well, I've got a solicitor and barrister, and they're very good, and I just have to do what they tell me. And I'm like, that is your signature to just, lamb to the slaughter. You're a legal team. If you're going to play that drama, is only as good as the person that hires them. So he has put a firecracker up their bums. He has consulted an independent expert witness who has completely discredited the one that they put forward. And he has asked the right questions, albeit belatedly, all in the last 2 months before his trial starts, So anyway, that's that. And the other one that's really breaking my heart is John Patterson. I'm not sure how up to speed you are on that situation.
I can't say that I am up to speed on John Patterson. There's that many people that want my help to get them out of jail, to get them out of a lunatic asylum, to get them out of this. I can't keep.
You're not the savior of the world. You can't do all things to all men.
There's that much going on. So, if someone comes up with a name like John Patterson, I've heard it before. Can I remember the details? No, I can't.
Well, he started off as a very reasonable. He's a veteran. He's 72 or 3 now. He's a Navy veteran, and he's a sort of English chipper-chappy gentleman, really. And he started off very, very reasonable, analysing information of corruption, evidence of corruption, working with Brian Setchfield, who was the board member of Crime Stoppers, exposing Finchley Road money laundering and Ponzi schemes, going very respectfully to places like the BBC to report it and the police to report it. And then when you watch his old videos, which Andy Devine is featuring at the moment, he starts off an absolute gentleman, and towards the end, the targeting and trolling that he suffered has him acting overzealously and sometimes in an aggressive manner that is not who he is, but that's what people do to you. Like, for instance, when he went to report to the police corruption up to parliamentary level and money laundering and the British Treasury being drained and all that, there was a setup where his partner had just had cancer surgery. She had all her lymph nodes removed, and they got aggressively stopped by some police, and they arrested his partner, who was just out of surgery, and put her hand up so far up her back she was in excruciating pain. Well, him, like any man, any red-blooded male, he went ballistic, you know, for what they were doing. And then that's when
Oh yeah, I mean, if they did that to me, the guy would get decked without hesitation.
absolutely,
He'd be in serious pain on the floor.
they're
He
trying
wouldn't get up. He wouldn't get up again.
They're trying to castrate men of their manliness and their natural inbuilt function of protecting. So he's got this woman he loves who's just had cancer surgery, and there's a thug of a copper with her arm up her back and her screaming in agony. And then they do him for resisting arrest and breach of the peace and whatever else. And it's gone downhill from there. And I've been able to speak to him a couple of times in the last few days. And sadly, it's another case. Now, this
to round that off, he got provoked because they went after his wife and put her hand on
this
the
is
back.
what they do. They
use that to provoke him so he would retaliate.
Yeah, and then they do you for the
And
retaliation.
then they do you for the retaliation.
Yeah, which is a classic
standard method of operation.
Standard,
yeah.
So, and then it went from bad to worse. You know, like the last time he was kidnapped was when he was delivering an appeal by appointment to the Ministry of Defence. And he got waylaid there, and like there was all sorts of breaches of the law. Sussex police were out of their jurisdiction. They came and kidnapped him. They put him in jail, and then the jail released him because they realised it was unlawful. So then they put him in a mental health institute, and this is how they've done a chemical kosh on him. They've given him, like, you couldn't meet a more sane gentleman. And yet
so right now he's in a mental institute.
Has been since November 2019, between prison and a mental institute, and they've given him a diagnosis of schizophrenia out of nowhere, and they have him heavily drugged on a forced medication situation. So, from being a very, very intelligent fount of wisdom, with knowledge and evidence on, for instance, Dr. David Kelly's, you know, murder called a suicide, and he's got information on so many things with evidence to back it up. So they've dulled his brain. He's hardly able. So he's now passively trusting a legal team, and he's also not getting the distinction that if you're going to play the legal team court theatre, you're the boss. Even if you're getting legal aid, they are getting paid to represent you, but they think they are paid to bully you and tell you what to say, what not to say. I sent a video statement to his barrister.
Well, they are paid to bully you and tell you what to say and what not to say, because they don't work for you; they work for the state. They are the lawyers under the Solicitors Regulation Authority, or they are the bar.
Yeah.
And they work for the government directly.
They do, and this is what people don't realise. You hire a solicitor, or you hire a barrister, or they hire a barrister, and you think you've got a legal team. No, the legal team's got you, and if they're in cahoots in any way at all, whether knowingly or unknowingly, their allegiance is not to you. So he's in a situation where he asked me to resend a testimony about the 3 remaining witnesses. They're trying to prosecute him for stalking with intent to violence. Now, he was attacked and murdered with a really hard blow to the left temple by one of these hired thug trolls. There was a witness to it, and it was on CCTV, but Sussex police, or whichever police jurisdiction it was, took no further action. But now they've flipped the tables and saying that He's the one threatening violence. And again, it's like, if somebody punches you and tries to kill you, age 71, on the steps of a court under CCTV camera with a witness, and the police do nothing, any normal red-blooded alpha male would be angry.
Yeah.
So again, they're castrating men. You're not allowed to be angry because we haven't done anything about an attempted assassination on your life. Now we're going to prosecute you for your angry response. You know? So
And how is that not willful and belligerent terrorism across the board with the police, with the courts, with everyone involved?
I believe it is, but there's 3 remaining witnesses, and I had already given some background information with evidence as to why these witnesses are unlawful and of poor character. And he because I lost my main Facebook page, that got lost in the melee. So he'd got word out to me to please resend it, and I made a video. His barrister has told him she's refusing to look at it. She doesn't want to see any evidence from any of his cohorts that don't believe in the court system. And, you know...
So what is his state of mind at present? Because he's under the drugs. You've drugged him down. What is his state of mind?
The sad thing is, from being a very, very bright man, very intelligent man, and almost hyper, it took me about 4 times to get him to write my phone number down correctly. I could feel his pain. It was like he was trying so hard and he kept saying the number and missing a digit out. And like, he doesn't have dementia, he doesn't have Alzheimer's, but it's a chemical kosh, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's drugged to death. Okay,
Yeah.
so his mental state right now is he's not compos mentis.
Yeah.
He's not of sufficient mind to be able to do anything for himself. So it doesn't matter what we say or give him or tell him to do.
No, it doesn't matter. Andy Devine
he isn't going to do it.
No, Andy Devine tried really hard. I think he sent him a copy of your affidavit. You sent him instructions on what to do with it. He sent him all sorts. Andy Devine had power of attorney given to him by John, but everybody surrounding John is acting as a gatekeeper. They won't let him receive any phone calls from Andy. I'm surprised I'm even getting through, and they might ban that after this. But there was a flicker of hope in John's mind where he's like, oh, would you try writing it to my barrister if she won't listen to the videos? Because the videos had screenshot evidence and documented evidence and video evidence. So he says, would you mind writing? Perhaps she'll read that. But it makes me so angry when a barrister and a legal team that's getting paid a fortune, that they dare to tell their client what they will and will not do on their behalf. It's just outrageous.
Well, that's because they have got the client's power of attorney, and they can do what they want.
Yeah, because
they can literally do what they want because they've got his power of attorney.
And that's the thing that people don't.
They are thugs and they are criminals, and they will just soak up the cash. That is what they do.
Right, I know, and that's what's happening, and that's the bit I missed. You're absolutely right on that, because the minute you hire a solicitor, you're handing your life into their hands, and it doesn't end well. It doesn't end well. All right, I'll go. The next thing I want to show you, which might amuse you. Share screen. Done. Channel comments. Now, there's somebody that says, because I said I didn't want to bother with a lien on this Sharon Gayle one, that she's the next one that's threatening to fly to Ireland and make a claim against
That cracks me up, because you can't have someone flying into Ireland, they're not residents in Ireland, to be able to make a complaint.
He told her she could come under exceptional circumstances, that he
right, so they're making it up as they go along again.
Yeah, okay. He told her that he would sort it out, that she'd be allowed to fly in from England, not self-isolate for 2 weeks. And he would say that she was coming under exceptional circumstances to report me.
And who's saying that she could come under exceptional circumstances? Who's saying
Detective Garda that interviewed
the criminal. Okay.
Right, okay. Now I've just found, I hope it's not disappeared. Somebody wrote, a comment about you can't do a lien, blah blah, and I just thought I just said to him I can't wait to show this to Baron. Probably for him to laugh it out of court. And that's weird. Sometimes my comments disappear. It was only a few minutes ago. Published. That's weird. Right, held for review. Published. Oh, it's on that video. Right, if I can't find it, I'll just look for it. You give us a catch up on what you've been doing and how things are going on your end. You've got a phenomenal number of liens done since I spoke to you.
Oh yeah, I mean, I hit the wall on the energy front. I went to sleep last December.
Yeah.
Because I was completely and totally burnt out, and I slept through December and January and February.
Wow.
Yeah, I slept for 3 months straight. And I'm still doing a lot of sleeping because, you know, it takes time to recover from that amount of burnout. I was online 24 hours a day. You know, Australia comes online at midnight and I'm up all night with Australia and New Zealand. And that year, up until December, it was like I just didn't get any sleep. I had flipping cat naps here and there and everywhere through the day, and through the night, but I didn't actually get any proper sleep. And my body's just said, that's it, son, you're going to sleep now, you're done, have a nice day.
Yeah.
So I had to turn off. I had to vacate, abandon shit basically. Otherwise I'm gonna kill myself.
Yeah.
In fact, I didn't get a choice. You get to that, and it's not the first time that's happened to me. That's happened 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
This is the 3rd time that's happened, and your body just shuts down. You're going to sleep now, monkey boy. Have a nice day. Whether you like it or not, whether you want to do it or not, you're done, and
Yeah.
you're finished, and all you can do is go to sleep and stay asleep until you wake up again and recharge your batteries. So December, I went to sleep, and when I came back, I just didn't go on Facebook at all. You know, I stayed off. I wasn't getting involved. I am not ever, ever, ever going to do the relentless Groundhog Day again. That's done, finished. I'm not doing Groundhog Day anymore. It's going to be the occasional Zoom, the occasional call. I might go on Facebook for an hour, but that's it. I just do some admin, maybe answer a question, and I'm gone. I'm gone again. I'm just not doing Groundhog Day ever
Because
again.
what's the point of dying? What's the point of like discovering everything you've discovered, researching everything you've researched, and then dying? It's like I've seen that happen. Mickey Summers died at 61. Different people that had an absolute gift for humanity, but because they didn't pace themselves or look after themselves, or maybe they were targeted, they just died.
But when I came back to the group in towards the end of February, beginning of March, the what we set up the previous March with Adrian in the email group to email the securitized liens against the MPs, that suddenly took off. All I'm seeing is all these different
So
names
exciting, yeah.
that's doing the liens, and they're coming in thick and fast. And there's about 30 people now, mostly in the UK. There's some in Australia and New Zealand that are putting securitized commercial liens against the MPs, and it's really taken off exponentially. You know, where we had for the first 5 years of the lien group, there was just me and my liens. Now there's something like over 500 liens that have been done.
I think 600. I think it's up to, yeah.
Yeah, 600 probably. I completely lost track.
Yeah.
Adrian is a legend. He's keeping a grip of it. You know, if I've got a question, you know, how many people are actually doing this?
Yeah.
He's keeping a record. He's keeping
this
a
is
ledger.
what it is. We need.
Yeah.
I realised that I've got one assistant, although he's just been in hospital, and I've got somebody else offering to help as well. And I think the secret is, if you try and do a one-man band, you're going to burn out. There's no with the internet, because even still, I feel guilty because so many people message me, "Can you help me? I've lost my children, or I'm about to lose my children, or this has happened, or that has happened." And I feel so bad that I can't be all things to everybody. I just can't. I can't, like, even sometimes keep up with emails, messages, DMs, and all the rest of it, you know.
Yeah, you just burn out. You completely
So
burn out.
it's
Yeah.
literally like everybody needs an Adrian, you need, and then again, you don't know if you're going to be infiltrated. You got infiltrated once, didn't you? With somebody that looked like they were coming on board and they turned out to be an absolute.
Yeah, Jonathan Chapman, he looked like he was going to be a good guy and he's all this and that. And then he just turns around and stabs you in the back.
Yeah. So it's a rocky road, but I've definitely learned you can't walk it on your own. Now, two things. I think, do you know what I think happened? I was just, when you said give me 15 minutes to make a coffee, I was just going through my comments to approve them. And this person goes under Muttley. They don't always make adversarial comments, but they made a long comment saying securitized liens are not legal in the UK or something like that, and then went on with a long expounding on why. And I just replied, I can't wait to show this comment to the Baron. I'm thinking they've deleted the comment.
Probably, it's just a ridiculous thing to say that a commercial lien is not relevant in the UK. It's just obscene. It's crazy talk by mad people.
Yeah, and somebody has obviously tipped Sharon Gayle's. There was 5 detectives raided my house in August 2018, and I said one of the things I said to the detective sergeant who I knew previously from trying to report my sister's murder. I said to him, on average, with 5 of you here, at least 1 and probably 2 are bent. And I said, there's 1 in particular won't make eye contact with me. And the detective sergeant tried to laugh it off and said he's probably scared of you. But no, he's the one that has been speaking to Ricky Dearman on the regular and taking hundreds of emails. And he's the one that Sharon Gayle is saying she's been speaking to. And he's told her to fly over in May under exceptional circumstances and blah, blah, blah. And here's how to do it. And from somewhere, either from Hoaxstead Research or from him, he's been told, oh, expect her to send you a letter from Baroness Angela. Ha, ha, ha. She works with Baron David Ward, who lives in a trailer. She's come out with all the old stock, like...
Standard method of operation of
don't take any notice of those mad people.
Yeah, I'm used to that. I get that all the time.
Yeah, and I honestly don't think she personally is worth the effort of taking a lien against. She owns a little house, she's got a mortgage on it, but she's got children. She didn't raise any of them, but she's got children. 2 of the adults are back living with her. I don't want to take the roof over her children's head, even if she's an absolute drunken terrorist, really. Cyber terrorist is what she is. And she's baiting me. I think she's been given a remit. It's this thing with John. Remember I said to you with John Patterson, he started off very reasonable and lovely gentleman, but they baited him so much, like attacking his partner with cancer and punching him on the head and then not prosecuting, that they got him to react. And I think that Sharon Gayle is possibly there to do that to me.
They'll set people up to bait you. And it's who is this person? What is she involved with? And why is she taking this action to bait you to do what she's doing? And there's always a reason behind it.
She's openly admitted that she says, oh, poor Ricky Dearman, what you did to that poor Hampstead father and those poor Hampstead people. And, she has known Hoaxstead trolls, even on her live chat, and as gross as they are, like...
Well, who is she to come into the defense of Ricky Dearman? Why does Ricky Dearman need her to defend him?
She's very good looking, and she's... when she's sober, she's like a femme fatale. She's very seductive. All the women feel sorry for her and all the men want to go to bed with her. And she just, she's started a YouTube channel. She was in a court case. Her husband was accused of murdering their baby. The baby was found dead at 10 weeks old with 32 fractures. And she's so intelligent... she fought the court case for, I don't know, 2.5 years or something, and she muddied the waters so much because the baby had had too many vaccines in one particular time and had been in and out of hospital since the vaccines, that the judge came in with the decision of, we know this baby was abused, but we can't prove who did it, so the trial collapsed. But then there was a family court trial in which there was a lesser burden of proof, and they found the husband. They prosecuted both the husband and Sharon Gayle, but they found the husband guilty and said he may never, ever have custody of a child again. And nor was Sharon allowed custody. Her children were taken. But for
Well, to be honest with you, it sounds like, you know, when you said when she's sober, she's obviously an alcoholic. She's got psychological problems, and it's probably better for the kids that they are not with them.
Oh, absolutely. They're well, not all grown. The youngest is 6, but removed from her 3 years ago. And according to a witness, the police were called on her because she was drunk, and she held a knife to that 3-year-old's throat to try and stop the police coming in the house. So like that was grounds right there to remove that. Now that's allegedly, that's according to an ex-employee and witness, but I'd be happy to have her subpoenaed if it came to court. But the other thing I wanted to say to you was, in the days of King Solomon, right? If you went before a judge in biblical days, both people would get to present their case, and I'm thinking of the most famous case where 2 women said, "This is my baby."
Yeah, I know the King Solomon
Right.
about that. Yeah,
And then the judge listened to both of their stories, and then he made a fair judgment. But the British or the Western judicial system has been so clever that if you imagine Sharon Gayle, for instance, if she, if it wasn't all acts and statutes and unlawful, if she got in a court and proved that I'd breached some acts and statutes, maybe accidentally saying her child's name or, whatever, little bits and pieces where they, on a technicality, they could trip me up. But I would be told, you can't address her character because it's not about her. We're here to look at her evidence against you. So unless you make a counterclaim, we won't be admitting any evidence. And it's the same with John Patterson. The 3 remaining witnesses against him all have huge stains on their character in terms of being able to bring a prosecution as they are. But it will be considered inadmissible. So where King Solomon would listen to both women and make a judgment, in the modern day and age, you only listen to the one that's done the court proceedings and against it. They have this thing where that's inadmissible or you can't go outside your statement.
that's because they're the one paying for the case. They're the one bringing the case.
But that's not right. That's a perversion of what justice was supposed to be.
Well, it's not justice at all, is it?
Not justice at all.
It's not justice. There's nothing justice about the judicial system. It's run by criminals for criminals.
Yeah. That's very sad.
It's the criminal justice system.
Run
by criminals. Yeah.
I heard somebody say that, and I thought words are so important. Now, the one thing I wanted to get to grips on today, so I kind of made my mind up. Unless she really pisses me off more, and I think she's just there to bait me, so I'm probably not going to rise.
Don't let her bait you.
Yeah, so I probably wouldn't even waste the postage and the ink cartridges to put a lien on her. But I do feel that if Jerry Goldrick, who's the detective that spoke with Ricky Dearman regularly, probably still does, I do feel that if he wants to go to war, I would like to complete the lien against him. I've done the first 3 stages with you, giving him 7 days to give me...
you are going to complete all of them liens when you get round to it. You've been waylaid and sidetracked for... it was a year ago when we wrote them up.
I know, but for instance, the detective sergeant, I like him.
I don't care if you like him. There is no such thing as a good police officer or a good guarder. They are all criminals. Whether you agree with that or not, the fact is they are all criminals.
All right. So what I want to ask you today is, 1, why do I have to do the habeas corpus for my property before I complete the liens?
Well, you don't. You can carry on with the liens and then do the habeas corpus, or you can do the habeas corpus now because we've proved the fact that there is no warrant to seize your equipment.
Yeah, we have.
And therefore,
proven
the habeas, the writ of habeas corpus is where there is an illegal detainment. Right, you've not got a warrant, so that's an illegal detainment.
Right. Yeah, here we go. Should you wish to have the property returned to you, you can, of course, consider a police property application or similar application before the courts.
Making an
Thelma Potter,
application before the court, please, sir,
Superintendent.
can I have a bowl of soup from a scumbag criminal? No, we don't do that. That is
Right.
not remaining in candor. That is not remaining in honor.
So can you tell me what to do? Because, you know, I've been a bit easygoing about that. I was very grateful. I mean, for one, my main PC belongs to my disabled son, which was, you know, provided for him by the National Council for the Blind in Ireland. So they had no right taking it anyway. And for two, it's like only by the grace of support that I have online, somebody gifted a replacement. But that's not the point.
That's not the point.
It's not the point. They've got my stuff and they've had it for 2 years. It'll be 3 years in August they've had my stuff.
Right. From their point of view, in the world of bullshit and fakery, in their own world, they cannot retain and take your stuff because they do not have a warrant. And and hang on, let me finish. They don't have a warrant to take your stuff. Any evidence taken from your stuff is therefore invalid and cannot be presented as evidence.
Yeah.
The two fake warrants for Google, etc.
Oh, they were outrageous.
Right. They cannot present any of that as material evidence in court because it's a fake warrant. It's not a warrant.
But do you think, I hear you and I agree with you. Do you think that's why they're trying to mount a second complaint against me, and this time they'll try and do it a bit better?
Yeah, because we've already destroyed them. They are destroyed. We know their process. We know what to do. We have stepped in and trashed them. They're going to try and come back with something else. Now, you said something about new legislation on cyber laws.
Yeah, Coco's law in Ireland. I think I was told it should be in place by about April, which would explain why Jerry Goldrick would tell Sharon, fly over in May and I'll take an in-person complaint from you.
Right, well, she can't fly over in May. Even if she does fly over in May, she's not resident in Ireland, and therefore she cannot make a complaint. She's a foreign entity to Ireland, even if she does fly over. It's irrelevant.
So how did Ricky Dearman fly over and make a complaint at my local barracks? He did that.
Well, he can't, can he? The fact is, these people are crooks.
Yeah, because you know what? That's
legitimately, he cannot do that. He cannot because he's an outsider. He's outside of Ireland.
It's very interesting because my daughter has a different father to my son's, and when I left America in 1990, I looked for child support, and I was back in Ireland by then, and I was told you need to go and reside in the UK again in order to file that. I had to move back to England to file for child support against him. I couldn't just fly in and make a statement and say...
Well, exactly, there's your example. You just couldn't fly in and make the application. Therefore, yeah. Ricky Dearman or anybody else can't fly into Ireland just to do that.
Even though they have done so.
Right, so why is it that they have done so and they've been allowed to do this?
Yeah.
It's because the police, the Garda, are crooks.
Okay. All right, so then the habeas
corpus... Even if they did, this new legislation, this COCO legislation, cannot be implemented on you because you cannot...
Retroactively, yeah.
Retroactively, yeah.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's irrelevant.
And I would argue, other than a couple of journalistic, genuine slip-ups where I've accidentally been in contempt of secret family court gagging order stuff, just like for like 3 seconds, a child's name might have appeared.
Stop right there. You can never be in contempt of a family court gagging order. It's impossible. It cannot be done. You can never, ever be in contempt of a family court gagging order. Well, you can be in contempt, but there's jack shit that can do about it. And that comes under the contempt of court and reporting restrictions under the CPS, Crown Prosecution Service, that tell the judge what he can and he cannot do. So the judge cannot hold you in contempt in a civil matter, and the family court is a civil matter.
Wow.
Because if the judge holds you in contempt, that's to take hold of you and put you in jail. That is an act of force and an act of terrorism in a civil matter, which is why the legislation from the Crown Prosecution, contempt of court and reporting restrictions, restrains the judge from holding anyone in contempt of courts in a civil matter or a family court.
Wow, 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 wow. Because that brings to mind the other thing.
So do what you wish.
Yeah.
Rain, hell, and damnation down on these people because they can't do shit. And I've done this in real life.
Yeah.
I've done this in real life, yeah, and it was in the family court. I was given a court order by District Judge Latif to sell my house. So I returned it to him with a document saying, take a long walk off a short pier, monkey boy, because the Crown Prosecution Service contempt of court reporting restrictions restrain you from holding me in contempt. In other words, take the finger, have a nice day.
You see, a lot of it is by consent or by drugging. This forced medication within the mental health frauds, that makes people like John Patterson say, all right, yeah, where do I sign? Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. And the same with Sabine McNeil. The trial collapsed against her and the jury was dismissed by the judge. But after he dismissed the jury, he then tried to impose bail restrictions, even though the trial had collapsed. And then because Sabine allegedly broke these made-up bail restrictions, she's in jail. She's been there for 3 years.
Hang on. The judge implemented bail.
The judge in Sabine's trial, the case collapsed and the judge dismissed the jury. But after the jury were dismissed, he said to Neelu Berry and Sabine McNeil, right, I'm imposing the following restrictions on you. You're not allowed anywhere near Hampstead. You're not allowed any agents of yours anywhere near there. You've got to take everything off the internet you've ever said about those children's disclosures. You're not allowed to blah, 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 right? You're not allowed to name Ricky Dearman was named by Justice Pawley on in the judgment.
No. Let's go back before we carry on. The judge imposed. Okay, that's called practice. That's called practicing law from the bench. That's contempt of court.
Yeah, the judge.
That's malfeasance in the office of the judiciary.
I absolutely agree. And then, based on her breaching those imaginary, made-up, malfeasance in office terms, she got 12 years. Reduced to 9 years, and she's 3 years into that court case in Bronzefield as a 74-year-old disabled, activist. So there's no doubt that the British system.
But she's not in jail. She's in
jail.
She's in jail.
Oh, for the last 3 years.
Without a case that's been concluded against her.
Yes, exactly. The case collapsed, but at the end of the dismissal of the jury, the judge put in fake restrictions. She broke the fake restrictions. She got 9 years. She got 12 years reduced to 9, and she's three years, probably coming up 4 into that sentence. And so once you're inside and silenced,
and then once again the writ of habeas corpus comes into place because the judge in contempt of court, that's malfeasance in the office, etc., etc. And therefore she can, using a writ of habeas corpus acts, she can therefore get out of jail free.
Absolutely, but once they're in the system and they're institutionalized, you try telling them, here's what you need to do, A, B, C, done. But they're so institutionalized by then, or drugged, or both, they're like, oh no, I better stick with my barrister. I've got a very good barrister. Oh no, I better not do that. It's the fear thing. It's the consent by fear.
Then there is nothing that we can do.
No, there isn't.
They've signed their own death warrant.
It is.
Too bad. There is nothing that we can do.
I know, that's heartbreaking. So we have to do what we can for the cases that we can. The other thing that was brought up was there were supposed to be 5 people prosecuting or witnessing against John Patterson. 2 of them have dropped out. The ones that are left are Ricky Dearman, Karen Irving, and DS Steve Martin. Now, DS Steve Martin was subpoenaed. He's gone against everybody they've jailed or sectioned. He's been a primary witness. He's the bent copper that was... the Independent Police Complaints Commission upheld a complaint that he led the children in their retractions. Appeared to lead was their words, right? He was subpoenaed to a court case and he didn't appear. And when the judge said, why is he not here? The judge was told, oh, he's been suspended pending the IPCC investigation. So he has been a faulty witness probably since then. You know, because that complaint again. So these people, this theatre is carrying on, affecting people's real lives.
Oh, yeah, it's a Muppet show conducted by criminals.
Oh, it's just devastating. So just tell me this, because I don't want this to go too long, because I want people to watch it. Should I do the habeas corpus or should I complete the liens? Which is the priority?
You're going to do both, and you choose what you want to do first, and you can do both at the same time.
Okay, so can you help me? Supposing we just do it logically and let's get this habeas corpus and get my stuff back, right? So you and I have done a little bit of work on that. I looked it up in a previous video we did. I know that Ireland suspended habeas corpus during the COVID.
Ireland cannot suspend fucking habeas corpus.
But
Jesus.
I swear to God, it was in the papers.
Yeah. People chat shit.
All right. So can we book? I know your time is precious, but I know you love me. So can we book a half an hour, say on Tuesday or Wednesday, to just do that? Just help me get that habeas corpus and get it out there.
Yeah.
Do I have to take it in person? Because they might try and arrest me.
No, they won't arrest you. If they're going to arrest you, they would have arrested you, and they can't charge you with anything. And we've already destroyed them anyway,
Okay.
which is why they're going to try and bring in something from left field. Okay,
which is Sharon Gayle currently.
Which won't work anyway. You know, we'll deal with that. That's not a problem. The thing is this: in 3 years, you've not been arrested. There's been no trial.
But they've destroyed my reputation because they've managed to credibly say she's under investigation by the Irish Gardaí or harassment.
To destroy someone's
credibility. And that's destroyed my reputation and credibility. I mean, to a great extent, I've lost my main YouTube channel. I've lost my 2 main Facebooks with millions of engagements. Like, they've tried hard. They have tried hard.
Yeah.
To silence me, you know, but we're still here. So can I talk to you, say Tuesday, and let's be ready to go and just bang it out there. And we can do it on camera just to show other people this is how you do a habeas corpus, bang, bang, bang.
Well, what you do is you get the files that you've already created.
All that. Yeah, we did all that on a previous video, but my brain goes left field. People forget, I'm not being a victim, but people forget I'm a survivor. And my brain goes tilt. If you hadn't helped me, I'm not bigging you up. If you hadn't helped me last year, I probably would have gone under. That's the truth.
Right. So you get all them documents that we've already sent, requests requiring their copy of the warrant.
Yeah, I've got all them on my computer. Yeah.
Yeah. You print them off again, physical hard copy. Yeah.
Okay.
You put a cover letter in, and you reference the habeas corpus, the writ of habeas corpus acts.
Okay. Do I deliver it to the local? Do I deliver it to the local Garda station where they've got my stuff? Do I have to hand deliver it, or can I post it?
You can post it.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll print off them between.
Go back to that car with Mike Miller and his dog. You know.
Yeah.
And he was on the phone to the chief of police. My dog has committed no crime, and the dog turned up a couple of hours later.
Yeah. No, I know there are people. There are, especially, I've met some good judges. I know you say there's no good coppers or judges, but I have met some good ones, and they know when...
No. That's not because the copper was a good copper or the chief of police was a good chief of police. Mike Miller had him by the balls.
No, I know. Well, you can say it like that, but what I mean is they know when the gig is up. They know
when the gig is up and they've got to comply.
Okay.
Exactly. which is why
Right.
Mike Miller got his dog back delivered to
Yeah,
his
yeah,
house.
yeah. And which is why Andy suggested why I've never been charged or arrested, you know, even though there may be, there may be another sort of.
So which we say, bring it on, bring your case.
I know, but you have to have no fear to do that. And sometimes I lose my courage. So that's why I appreciate you. So the group on Facebook is called Security by Way of a Lien, Lien. I'll
Yeah.
put a link in the description box. And it's not, even though I kind of look to David to help me, but at the same time, you can't have 9,000 people saying help me personally, because then you'll have a dead David.
The reason that I drafted and did all them documents for you is because you were in a state of distress, panicking. Now you're not panicking anymore.
I know, and it's like I don't want to wait to get in another state of distress. This woman is deliberately baiting me. Oh
Yeah,
yes, my trip to Ireland in May. It's
she is a nobody. She's
you know
absolutely nobody.
Do you know she actually put her PayPal out to raise 400 quid in order to come and report me? She's actually said, I want 400 quid to fly to Ireland, stay in a hotel overnight and make a statement to Jerry Goldrick. And people are donating. People have told her that she'll have no problem, they'll fund it.
And she's still a nobody.
Yeah, I know. All right, so can I talk to you Tuesday? Will you help me? I promise. Oh, God, I do promise. I promise to print off. What have I got to print?
All them, you know, all of the 3-stage letters where we've been saying, give us to all the people that's give us a copy of the warrant. All of them, you print them all off again, hard copy, and you write on them copy.
3-stage letters warrant request, which was unfulfilled. They never sent me a copy. They sent me letters saying, oh, you can have a copy if it goes to trial. You can have a copy when the DPP makes a decision. Do you know the DPP have had a file on me since January 2020? That's a year, February, March, April. A year and 3 months the DPP have had a file on me and made no decision. All they did...
They cannot bring any evidence into court because they've not got a warrant for them computers.
But you know, all they did since I served them with the paperwork you helped me with, the affidavit and the, demand for a copy of the warrant and so on, all they did was hire a barrister, a research barrister that is familiar with international law.
Why would they? Who's hired a barrister that's familiar with international law?
The DPP.
You're in Ireland.
Claire Loftus. No, because your proofs and cases were based in the UK, she retained a barrister specialising in law outside of the Republic of Ireland that included the UK. That's what she did. That's what she did.
That law outside the Republic of Ireland, including the UK, went in the bin on the 29th of May 2013.
I know,
It's
and hopefully...
not law, it's the acts and statutes, and it's international. Internationally, this applies across the planet. Because 7.5 billion people have not signed the required legal agreement agreeing to be governed.
Yeah, this is the person she retained. Yeah, and hopefully this person has realised that by now. It's a funny Irish name. RIOGHNACH Corbett, prosecution solicitor. So they hired a solicitor with a specialist knowledge of UK law because it wobbled their heads a bit that I was saying this applies in Ireland as well, this applies worldwide.
Well, Peter Joseph in Australia is using the affidavit, the same affidavit as the evidence in facts, and he's putting securitized commercial liens against the MPs in Australia. Wow. So take that to the international barrister.
Now, is that got anything to do with Australia being one of the Five Eyes Commonwealth countries?
It's got irrelevance to do with the fact that it's one of the Five Eyes Commonwealth countries. Okay. It's because it applies across the planet, that no one on this planet of the 7.5 billion people has ever signed that legal document agreeing to be governed.
Yeah.
Right.
And then just to end on that, Professor Dolores Cahill, who I don't agree with everything on, but she is citing your work, whether she's studied your personal work or come to the same conclusions. She is working with 800 legal and medical professionals to, and she has stayed free. She has not been arrested. She has lost her professorship at the university in Dublin, or she's on sabbatical, and she's had a lot of
You
opposition.
cannot lose your professional status once you've got a PhD.
Well, they haven't scheduled her for any lectures.
They might have taken away her position.
Yeah,
And her income.
I think she had a tenure.
Tenure. They've taken away her tenure, but they
Yeah,
can't take away
but
the
I don't think
PhD.
they can even lawfully do that. But she doesn't care because she's so excited, saying that what you're doing is unlawful and illegal. And any time the police or people in perceived authority try and bully her, she says to them, you do realise that by not fulfilling your oath, you are not covered by your work insurance as a policeman or whatever, and I will personally put a lien on you personally.
Well, that's exactly what I do. It's a private and a personal lien against the person. They want the person in the position.
Yeah, so that's encouraging to see. It is happening worldwide, but it is when I see the likes of John Patterson, Sabine McNeil, and so many others being persecuted and losing everything. And even worse, the frustration is that they consented, whether by being duped or drugged or terrorized, they consented. And that's the secret. We do not consent, even we do not consent is a negative.
It's the wrong way around. We do not consent. Prove that I have consented, because without my consent, you're a criminal.
Yeah. Okay. And
everyone says it backwards. Everyone says it wrong.
Yeah, because we do not. When I studied child psychology a bit in America, I had a daycare, and I never used to say to the children, "Don't do this, don't do that." I used to give them a positive. Let's do this. Let's play nicely. Let's share. Instead of saying don't, it's a negative. So anything to finish up so that we keep this in a bite-sized piece. Will you talk to me on Tuesday and help me just get this fucking habeas corpus gone?
Yeah.
Hold my hand a bit longer.
Piece of cake. It's easy.
I know you say
I'll dictate it through the camera.
There you go.
I was thinking that this was going to be difficult, that I would have to pull some spectacular something out the bag, but it's not. All we've got to do is reference the writ of habeas corpus and with the evidence and say, give me my stuff back now.
Yeah, give me my stuff back. All right, and I just I'm not trying to be a victim, but I do know that I am allergic to doing the shit I need to do for myself. I'll help anybody else, but when it comes to doing my own stuff, there's just a veil comes down and I just go left field. So I appreciate you. Anything else to finish with?
No. We are in a state of I mean there's massive things going on around the planet right now in multiple countries, not just Ireland and New Zealand. It's actually going on in Belgium and Canada and America and in Ireland. There's so many, there's 15,000 people in the two groups, and there's 30 people that's actually putting commercial liens against the MPs in government. There's 30 of them just doing that alone. Okay. Wow. And I've been trying to compile a post that I need to put in the group in my head, but I've been trying to compile it because I've got to do everything in here first.
Yeah.
And every time I compile this post, it's another Dave rants. I'm ranting again, and it's going to turn into a rant. And I don't want this to turn.
I don't want to rant.
So I've been spending 3 days trying to make this post that I need to do not be a rant. I can't do it.
Do you know, sometimes you just have to embrace who you are. Sometimes I think just let it rip. I really do. I'm getting
so it's going to be, when I get this post together that I need to put in a group, it's going to be a rant, and I can't help it because I can't find a way of it not being a rant.
I know. Yeah. It's the same. It's the same. It probably is time for people to rant. Okay, people, I'll put the links to how you can connect to Baron David's work, and please take this as a template. And even what we do on Tuesday, whack out the habeas corpus, take it as a template and run with it. And thanks to the people that have come alongside Baron David in his group and, made other groups and multiplied it and made it by email. And This is what we need. You cannot have a cult of personality. We don't want a cult at all, but it's got to be that you can multiply what people are discovering and suffering for. And please pray for John Patterson in his upcoming fake court case. All right, David.
Okay, you take
God
care.
bless. Thank you so much.
Bye for now.